Relax your mind. It's divine time.
All right, all right. Marco. Yay. All right. So with it, last week, me and my beautiful, intelligent, oh so wise and powerful wife spoke about the word nice and broke it down via its etymology. Today, I'll be covering kind and comparing the two and speaking about the differences of the two words. So with it, I'm a little storyteller. Like I say all the time, I'm a teacher. I'm gonna teach you something. And with that, the best way I feel that I can is via life experiences, things that I've gone through. So close your eyes. Everything starts with that. Story time. Story. Wake your ass up. You a narcoleptic. I know, right? This should be pillow talking, right? Put your head on my shoulder. Podcast done. So with it, there was a time when I was younger and I was sitting in the back seat. I can't remember who was driving, my mom or my stepdad. I remember my sister was next to me on the right hand side, and we had just came back from this Mexican spot. Had some bomb chimichangas, by the way. Probably the reason why I try chimichangas every time I go to a Mexican restaurant. But we had got done with the restaurant. We were coming out. We were about to hit onto Nimitz Highway, going back towards Hickam, and there was an individual. I want to call him homeless, but I'll say less fortunate. I can't say whether he was or was not homeless, you know? So I don't want to wish anything upon anybody because words have power. And with that, this man was there and he had a sign that he was ultimately asking for money. Now, with me, I'm the type of I'm the type of individual where I feel hard, unfortunately. Sucks. I mean, throughout life, a lot of people would try and use that against me. I kind of like broke down in tears wanting to give this dude some money. And so with that, I asked my mom for my lunch money that was for that week. And she was like, why? I'm sitting here and I'm telling her, I was like, he needs it more than me. And she's like, you don't know what he's going through. What if he's just saying? I feel that he really needs that. Now, granted, he might have just got it and went and got high or took it and drank some alcohol and just passed out. Or he could have went around the corner with the Mercedes Benz and went home to a mansion. I don't know. Or I should say like a 2-bedroom house because that was about the same amount. It would cost the same amount in Hawaii as a mansion anywhere else, to be honest with you. In Hawaii, you got like 4 generations of people living in a house just to make ends meet and to be able to save or invest. And she was like, are you sure you want to do that? I was like, yes. So I'm sitting here, little old me in the back seat. Mom. I know, right? I'm like, yo. So she gives me the $5 and she pulls over onto the side on the highway. And she was actually driving. Yeah, I think about it. And she waves him down, flags him down. He comes over. He's like in the front, and she was like, no, he wants to tell you something. So then she rolls down my window, and I'm like, yes, and like give him like the $5 and everything. He's like, oh, thank you, God bless you, God bless you. He's like, thank you so much. And like he touches my hand. Like when he touches my hand, as I was giving him the $5, like I could feel as I'm older. I can describe the feeling. Back then, I couldn't really describe it, but it made me cry more. But the best way that I can explain it now was a sense of sorrow and scared. Like it was almost like he was terrified of the situation that he was in. And back then, I didn't know exactly how to explain that to my mom because I tried telling her, and I was like, yo, like crying and sobbing and licking snot off my top lip. I wasn't gonna see him like, you never did that. Yeah, you don't really have much of a top lip, but go like this. You lick your own book. Your hair? How the fuck your hair get in my mouth? You worried about my hair? It was snot. Oh, look, I was young. I was like, I'm not gonna say the age because then you can be like, you were. Da, da, da. But anywho, look, don't judge me, okay? Don't. So was our son. Probably our daughter. She's the type who would probably try and hide it. Anyway, back on topic, interrupting me and taking me off. So the feeling that I felt from him was more like sorrow and as if he was afraid or yes, sorrow and afraid that things are where they were, what he was dealing with, and it was horrible because of the fact that it was like the last of the money that I had. And there's been a lot of times in life to where it's like the last of something that I may have, or either I would always end up giving to someone who I felt needed it more than me. She can tell you there's a lot of time I don't really care much about physical things. I'll forget or just drop it. There's been times where I can go in my pocket and find $20. I'm like, oh look. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, or either I'll just be walking around the house or somewhere and money just literally falls in my hand, or good things always happening to me and stuff. And she's a testimony of it all the time. She'd be like, man, every time I turn around, you got money coming your way. Da, 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 da. I'm just like, I mean, in all honesty, I think what it comes down to is there's no such thing as good and evil in the universe, but the universe always brings back to you what you put out. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like if you're doing if you're doing good things, then good things are going to come back to you. If you're doing bad things, then bad things are going to come back to you. And with that, I want to roll into the topic that we have for today. What is kind? Kind or nice versus kind? And I want to start with what is kind because last week we talked about nice. Shut up. Shut up. I can feel it. Shut up. Oh, Mr. Not So Nice Guy. When you see this, I know you're going to put it in the comments.
He's so nice.
I know, right? Look, I mean, it was a learning thing for me. It's been a learning thing for me. And I got to say, that's one thing that I, not going to say, that's one thing that I learned and I'm growing out of. I still do have some nice moments, and we'll talk about that later on because there's times where we all show niceness, mainly because of the fact that there's things in life that requires us to be nice, which sucks, but it does. And if you do not conform to what they want, then we'll get into that. But I do want to go in and talk about kind. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and just, I guess, pull up this real quick, which what I have or had, which doesn't want to seem to come up now. Why are you playing with my emotions? Gotta love it, right? Technology said, "Hey, we ain't gonna do this with you right now," but it's okay. I understand. That tends to happen. Like the wife comes over and things are just like, "Hey, you don't want to work?" I know, right? So I'm gonna go into kinds, which let me type in kind because that's yeah. So we're going to talk about kinds. What is kind? So first of all, the definition of kind is used as an adjective, which is what we're going to talk about today because we're not going to use the noun, which really talks about your race. Yeah, but we're going to talk about the adjective, which is often how it's used when people are saying, "Oh, that was a kind individual," using it as an adjective. If you don't understand the way grammar works, then take your ass back to elementary school. So the definition of that is having or showing a friendly, generous, and considerate nature. Now, rolling into the etymology of the word kind, which we have right here. Class sort barity from Old English. That right there is the noun. Now, going into the adjective, friendly, deliberately doing good to others. Boom. I don't know how else we can really get into that, but
because they use the word deliberate.
Yeah, deliberately doing good to others. Like,
You're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Just did you beep at me?
I did not beep at you.
Oh.
We have somebody joined. Hello. Oh my goodness. So with it, anywho, yes, deliberately doing good to others. That's when it comes down to it. If you're friendly and deliberately doing good to others. If we roll down into kindness, courtesy, noble deeds from kindness, meaning kind deeds, kind feelings, quality or habit of being kind. But if we also look into it, it states right here where you have the Proto-Germanic kundi, natural, native. So deliberately, that's natural. So when you have someone being kind, that's naturally who they are. It's not something fake that they are doing, usually seeking something or out of ignorance, how we have read that nice was.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting the way that words are used, and a lot of people do not understand how words are used. Unfortunately, the actual true meaning of words, and with that, we have a lot of things being said that are not being said in the correct way. For example, how people were like, "You're so nice," and I'm sure that they meant that in a good way.
I know
But when you go down to it and you think about what the word nice means,
it's the equivalent of
exactly, or you poor soul. Like it's like you motherfucker. Like, and if you actually understand what these words are, and it's interesting because oftentimes when people are saying these things, the way that they actually feel correlates with what they're saying, what it actually breaks down to with the etymology of the word. So they're saying it in a way to where it sounds good. That's that velvet sword right there. Yeah, it sounds good, but in all honesty, it's effing you over. I feel like a lot of us these days are used to that. We're living a time where people are so used to being talked around that when they get talked to directly, they feel a type of way. Unfortunately. I'm like, a lot of people have a hard time allowing others to do things for them due to so many people seeking something in return. A lot of people being nice. They're being nice because they are trying to get something out of it. But then you also have individuals who use that niceness as weakness because you have someone who they're not sure if it's genuine, if they're being kind, or if they're just trying to one up the person, trying to use the person for something, being nice, that fakeness. Hence why I have that two-faced character on. And that right there is going to tie into a big part of later on when we start comparing nice versus kind. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the way that a lot of individuals are nice these days. It creates a lot of jaded individuals to people who are doing good things in the world. What you think on that?
You already know
Yeah, I know, but the people who may see this don't.
Awesome.
Well, there's some
But I will agree. Congratulations, humanity. All a great majority of y'all
there's some good people
should have been swallowed
bruh.
or been a stain on the mattress. Matter of fact, you should have been a back stain on your mother.
Ooh.
Sorry.
That is
I mean that in the kindest way possible.
in the kindest way possible.
What was you saying?
But no, there's some gems out there.
There are.
The gyms that are out there, hold on tight. Okay, it's rough out here for the gym. Okay, a little slightly here.
Slightly. Woo. So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever like dealt with somebody and let's say somebody was going through a hard time and you did something from the kindness of your heart, and then later on they're having another time and you're like, well, you remember when this and this happened? They're like, yeah. And they're like, well, everybody else has left me, you leave me, or something along those lines. You're like, I was there when you was in your darkest time. And they're like, well, I never asked you to be there. I never asked you to help me. And I'm like, I feel like that shows a lot of times that somebody has been taken advantage of, or that person probably was nice, and that's what I kind of mean by that jaded feeling. I feel like you're nice. A lot of people who do nice gestures, I feel that those are the ones that often feel that others seek things from them when something nice is done to them.
Right. But they're saying like you did something being kind, but they took it as you being nice because somebody else was nice to them in the same manner, but they didn't mean it genuinely.
Yes.
And expected something in return.
Yes. And I feel like that's what we see a lot of today. We see a lot of that these days because
so I'm gonna be nice to you, but what am I gonna get?
Yes. Or either somebody will try and rub that in the person's face later on and be like, well, I gave you $40, I really need that back, or I don't know. I don't really do like nice gestures. I mean, I do things and literally forget about it. So, but I mean, that's something that I have noticed. A lot of individuals will sit there and they're always so quick to try and rub it in somebody's face, like I never asked for that.
Or they want to announce that they did something nice for somebody.
Yes.
Like you didn't even consider the other person's feelings before you just outed them and be like, well, I did such and such for whoever. And look how nice I am. See what I did for this person.
And that's
gonna mess around and embarrass them. You didn't even talk to them first before you just out and all their business.
Facts. That part right there. Or either individuals will sit there and purposely do things to try and win over other individuals.
And they go, look how nice I am.
You use the word correctly. You ignorant, because I'm pretty sure there's other people who know who you are and they see you for what you truly are.
Look at all the nice things I did for you.
So last week we spoke about how nice is foolish, ignorant, senseless, and more times than not, the one being nice gets taken advantage of. Like I said, I believe that those who were nice eventually realized that they finished last. They, like I said, turn into those who they find it very hard to accept kindness and oftentimes abuse others who show kind gestures. being nice almost seems to be a social expectation that's taught from youth and onward. Like, for example, say hello to strangers, open doors for people, etc. Be polite. The funny thing that gets me is the fact that work preys on the ignorance that you have, and they expect you to be nice. Yeah, you do. Let me hear your customer service voice. I called you out on that one. Yeah, I don't do that.
I use the customer service voice.
And you're being nice.
And I kindly direct them to somebody that's management.
But initially, you are nice. You are literally coming on with, yes, good gestures, but out of the ignorance of the fact that, you know what, this is something that I have to do, which the job is telling you this is what needs to happen, because if you don't, most likely going to happen. How did Donald do it? A little corn husk guy. Anyway, so it's interesting in the fact that jobs expect you to be nice, and they use that against you, because if you don't do what they expect you to do, then times will get hard for you. You have to literally sit here and be a punching bag to the people who are above you, and sit there and be like, yes, sir, boss. How's it do it, boss? Do it, boss. And they know that you will, because you need this job. They believe that you need this job, whether you do or you don't. They believe that you need this job. So you have to go ahead.
That's an aspect that I think you're missing, because back then, if you didn't act a specific way, or act a way that they intended you to, they told you you had to act. Okay, was it the Christian Black Code of 1724? You had to act a specific way. You couldn't look certain people in the face. You had to walk with your head down. You had to smile. You had to act socially the way they wanted you to act. So that kind of passes down from generation to generation, especially in a position where you are not the authority. If you're not the authority, you're there. You're there to make sure. You're there to make sure that you're following their protocol. And the minute you, like you said with the job, the minute you don't follow protocol, and you're not smiling at a customer, and you're not laughing or going along with the program, and the fear is you're getting ready to lose your job. But back then, it was about you losing your life, or being put in jail, or being beaten within an inch of your life. That's what you face. So socially, it was hard to be genuine, because being genuine meant that your life was on the line. Literally, your life was on the line. And it's supposedly have changed socially. I mean, 9 times out of 10, the more social thing to do now is web-based. So everybody can pretty much say what they want and act how they want to act, without the exceptional words or phrases that you can't use, or you get blocked from Facebook or TikTok or whatever. But things have changed socially. But back then, you had to step and fetch it, because if you didn't step and fetch it, then you know what was going to happen. And it may not have happened right away, but eventually it did happen, and you were put in a position where you lost something, or you were hurt severely. So there's a lot that plays into even the word nice, like you're saying. They said nice with the intent of you of saying that you're foolish, or you're whatever the true definition was. Later on, if you didn't pay attention, or you weren't reading definitions, or you weren't reading at all, you just thought that they were being nice to you. It's like patting a dog on the head, and oh, it's such a nice little dog. You're such a good person the whole time and you have no idea. So you're just happy that you're getting these accolades. It's not accolades. It's you see what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of difference between the way it was, and it's actually kind of bled into this, and to what's socially up to now. I'll say up until the 90s, up until the 2000s, that was the way it was shaped. I mean, because if you go to a church, or you go to any of those organizations, you were expected to act a specific way: sit up straight, smile, be respectful to adults, be respectful to people around you. Call me this or call me. it's the way you act socially, and that was the requirement. The minute you stepped outside of that 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 social structure, then you were considered either hard to deal with, and you need to be dealt with, or somebody need to teach you some manners and all the rest of that stuff. When in all actuality, you're just speaking out, saying how you feel. That wasn't allowed.
Quick
So
question. Quick question. Are you using the mic under settings?
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, hit the settings and audio, and then go to Quadcast if you're not on that one.
Okay, is that better?
Ooh, that's sharp. That's good.
Okay, so Quadcast.
That's good. Ooh, big difference.
Okay, got you. But yeah, it's just a lot of this social behavior came. I mean, we were raised a specific way. We were raised to act. We were raised to obey the people that were older than us, and we didn't have a voice. And that adults would tell you just that very thing. You don't have a voice. What do you mean? You're gonna do what I say, and you were bad because they said you were bad, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you kind of bend, and you accepted the statement that was made about you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the way it was, and it's because now you have people that are more vocal about how they feel about life, and the ones that have been done that way are still. It puts them in a position of they're like real nervous because there's still a fear that something bad is going to happen. So again, we were being my family's three generations outside of slavery, so we were being treated the way they were treated. So whatever the slave master
got your fingers and toes, right?
Yeah, barely, but they determined that they were going to discipline us the same exact way, and it was for the most part my grandmother, and then anytime that they thought they seen bad behavior or people talking back, it was all it was the fire was rained down. It's a problem. You got to correct the behavior, correct it now. And otherwise, and their big fear was if we don't correct the behavior, you don't do it to somebody else gonna hurt you worse. It's going worse than I'm gonna hurt you. So that's the way it was. So it's a learned behavior. It's not just something that people have done facetiously, from my experience. And there are people that are that way, though. Go ahead.
For that, the way that your parents were acting, do you think that was niceness from them? Because I mean, that really was the ignorance of everything that was going on. That's just how their parents treated them, and the parents before them treated their parents. So that was passed down, but they truly didn't understand why it was like that, especially when times had changed.
Well, they understood why, because they were still in the same mind frame. And there's a book called Slave Syndrome, and it's by this woman. Her name is Joy DeGroove. She's psychologist. I mean, she's a number of things, a master's degree of things, but she came to the idea that a lot of what's happened to the African American culture has been passed down from generation to generation. So we knew exactly why in slavery it happened, because they didn't want their folks to get killed. So they did exactly what was supposed to be done. But when they stepped out of line, they knew what the discipline was when they stepped out of line. Well, that kept going. I mean, slavery didn't end for some states until 1993. So that behavior was still going down. That stuff was still happening back in the 90s. So for us to say that we're completely woke from that, we're not completely woke, or just the idea that it's in our system that we fear before we actually stand up and speak exactly how we feel. I mean, that's why I think Martin Luther King Jr. had such a huge following, as well as Malcolm X or anybody else that spoke out vocally about how they felt about how we were treated. But their end was death for most of them, right? And that was the consequence back then. The consequence: you speak out, you say stuff that that we don't want you to say, then this is going to be your consequence. That's been, and it happened.
Hey, lady.
Okay, even up to that time. So I mean, all this stuff that we're seeing is
is something that's negative now because we're able to be more vocal. Has not been really negative again till the end of 1993 for the most that have lived through it. Like I was born in the 70s. My mom was born in the 50s. My dad was born in the 40s. So all this stuff was still happening when they were born. So whatever they suffered or they were trying to fight through, that was still in their system. It was still in the system when their parents and their grandparents went through all of that stuff. So it's passed down. It's something that passed down from generation to generation. Can it change? Yeah, it changed. It's changing with you guys because y'all ain't putting up with it. It's like, no, y'all, I'm not dealing with it. you're gonna give me the respect that I deserve. And even then, you have states like we're down here in South Carolina, right? So we're down here in South Carolina, man. These folks, bro, it's a lot different from the North. Even you had your stuff in the Northwest, right? You had your stuff in California, other states, but they're still more progressive than what's happening on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So, yeah, on Southeast, they expect that they have that still they have that good old boy system. They want to make sure that you know it, riding around with the Confederate flags and making sure that you know that this is the South belongs to us.
Proud.
Exactly. That's what's happening. They're not letting it go. You see what I'm saying? But it's their way of fear into a culture to make sure that they know we're still in control. You know what I'm saying?
Find out.
They are. Yeah. But I'm gonna roll it back. I want to roll it back on to kinds because I was doing a comparison of nice and kind. So we've heard what nice is, and going into dealing with kind, I'm like, kind people don't seek anything in return. And I'm like, just like how the etymology states, it's in their nature, it's who they are. I've also noticed that there's a lot of individuals who are kind when they get met with individuals who probably dealt with other people who were being nice to them and trying to get one up on them. A lot of people do not understand who's being nice, who's being kind. They cannot recognize those characteristics between the two. They don't understand the difference. And what I'm noticing is a lot of people who are kind, they start to isolate themselves away from people because a lot of people are constantly trying to take advantage of them. And due to their nature of being kind and just doing things just really to be doing it or knowing like, all right, cool, let me help this individual. They don't like that feeling, so they remove themselves rather than getting jaded. Like the people who are just nice seeking things or just doing nice things because they feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. They don't have that empathy behind it. They don't have that actual genuine concern for the person or what is going on or see the bigger picture of everything that's going on. They don't really feel for it like how people who are kind do.
Well, see, if you put it in the aspect that if you go to church and somebody at church, the pastor says, in order to go to heaven, you have to do this, that, and the other. And then list those things. You have to be kind. You have to be good to love your neighbor as yourself. You go down a list of things that you have to be in order to get in heaven. And talk about the fruits of the Spirit, joy, kindness, love, peace, and above such as there's no law. All of those things are requirements to get into heaven according to religion, right?
But is anybody teaching people the difference between kind and nice? So they're thinking that they're doing kind gestures when really just being nice, going down this list that you just stated.
That's it, and that's the problem with religion, because religion doesn't say it has to be genuine. They just say you got to do it, and if you don't do it, then this is what's going to happen. So there's another scripture that they talked about with regards to giving tithe. They said, "Don't give grudgingly, and out of necessity, and when you do that, it'll come back to you." Mm-hmm. Now, if you get into that whole thing, it's like how you feel about giving it. If I'm mad and I know this is my last, and if I spend it, I ain't gonna have no money left, then you shouldn't give it. You should keep it in your pocket. Because I
got a story for you based off what you just said.
But at the end of the day, that's the way it is. Same thing with kindness. Do I really want to be kind to this person? Well, I'm gonna get into heaven. I got to do something. So whether it's the same thing, if I'm being grudgingly while I'm giving or being kind, then I might as well not do it at all. Because if I do it and it ain't the right way, then I'm not gonna make it. I'm just gonna be here in this marginalized place because I put myself there because it's really not in me to be kind or to give.
and then it's not kind.
No, it's not
Because
really.
again, one of the characteristics of being kind is that genuine and empathy with it. So if you're like how you just explained it, if you have that feeling remorse and stuff, that's not being kind. You're doing it, you're being nice, and you're doing it for self, which ties into the story that I was about to tell you. There was an individual who had a near-death experience. He died and then ended up coming back. But when he said that when he had passed away, he ended up seeing Jesus, and Jesus told him that he needs to change his ways. And he was like, I've been living a Christian life and doing all this. He's like, I've been serving God. And he was like, you were not serving God, you were serving man. All the things that he was doing for himself to go to heaven. He was not doing these things and actually serving God. He was serving himself by accomplishing these things for his own selfish need or his own selfish want of wanting to go to heaven. And I was just like, dang. So even I feel like that ties in to what you just said. A lot of individuals doing things, being nice for their own selfish gain.
Yeah, it's only filling the prerequisite. That's it. It's like going to college. These are the things I need to do to get my degree. I'm gonna do what I got to do to get my degree, and I'm gonna get out of here. There's a difference between having learned experience or what do they call it, practicals, where you go and you actually have the experience. You get down with the people and you go to the hospital. Yeah, it's hands-on. But that's the difference between book knowledge and hands-on. And hands-on is 9 times, 10 times better than a person that is just reading books about it because there's no application. You haven't applied.
I'm a hands-on person. I can read, and I won't understand what the hell's going on until I actually am in a situation where I get to use it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now I understand. Everything is clicking together. But otherwise, reading it, I can sit there. I might be able to tell you verbatim, but I won't be able to do it myself because I won't understand. I won't recognize what the pieces are or certain things, but I can tell you what they are. I can be looking dead at what the thing is and not know what it is, but tell you what I need. That's why I don't really like books. I rather learn by doing it and then read about it and then do it so I can put the two together. But when it comes down to it, have you noticed when it comes dealing with social media portrays a lot of things of it. It seems to give people an idea of what kindness is. However, granted, we know that a lot of that is staged. You'll see videos where people are walking by and they'll give somebody like a bouquet of roses and like keep on walking. Like, yeah, that is definitely a kind gesture. I'm sure that's somebody you knew and you planned it out to have them walk by. You're going to give it to them because I'm not sure if you really were just going to give like $60 to $100+ of roses to a random person. If you do, big up yourself. There's also times when you might see somebody. I saw one that really made me mad. It was a person who was pulling fish wire off of, I think it was like an eagle or a hawk or falcon, maybe. It was stuck in on the water on like a stick. And come to find out, the person had staged that whole thing, which that right there, it pissed me off because I was like, you put a bird in danger for views and likes.
That's it. I mean, and it's ridiculous because most of that stuff is staged. And it's sad because in order for you to build up an image for yourself, you have to do something that's drastic. Or why does it have to be filmed at all? Isn't it enough that you do it and then you live your life? Because living your life regardless, I mean, let somebody else tell your story. Don't tell your story for yourself. If somebody sees you doing it and they catch it on film, that's one thing. But for you to set it up for them to catch you, it's them when it's caught in more than one angle, or you don't even see their face because they want to make sure that you know that was them that did it. It makes no difference. It's you building up an image for yourself. Allow people to give you your roses or to pat you on the back. But all this is predicated on you doing this genuinely, is predicated on you just doing it. It ain't nothing to do with anybody seeing it. If it's a religion, if it's an act, then it's the basis of it is religious or it's a spiritual belief, then nobody really needs to know it all, period. It's a conversation between you and the Most High or the people that you live around or live close to or it's just you just did it and that was it. And 9 times out of 10, when you do stuff like that, like again, we grew up where we were pushing people's cars out of the street when the car stopped. You see what I'm saying? We were giving people rights.
That was in a different timeline, though. Yeah. The timeline we in now, everybody's just like, "Hey, get out the road," or they'll see like a family stranded in a car on the side of the road with the high beams on, or either it's in the middle of the road taking up traffic. Everybody going to try and squeeze by and yell and cuss at that person, like, "Get out the road," type deal.
Right. Like there's one time where I actually got out of my car and pushed an old person across the street. There wasn't a wheelchair. Right? And people were like honking at him to hurry up. I'm like, he's literally
he's in a wheelchair. He's trying to do the best that he can.
One leg and one arm. Like he can't make it across the street. I was like, it's a green light. I got out the car, pushed him across the street. Granted,
right.
Push him across the street. You getting mad? It would have been so much faster for somebody else.
Somebody would have,
You are awesome.
Exactly.
Mad and stuff. It's like you could have solved the problem. But instead, you thought you were being mad and yelling at him. That's going to make him go.
Exactly. Like he's going to be like, "Oh, the power of rage gives me energy."
That's it. But the funny thing about that is, here's timing, right? What if he was the reason why you missed an accident? What was the reason why that you didn't speed, or you took the time that you didn't hit somebody? You see what I'm saying?
Butterfly effect right there.
All that is taken into consideration. That's when the universe is working, and you're ticked out because the universe is working.
And I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure if you were on earlier when I had said, I was like, look, the universe doesn't recognize good or bad. I was like, but whatever you put out is what's going to be returned to you. So I mean, for example, like exactly like how you said that you put out that good energy, and you put out that energy, and what came back was your health in return.
Right.
But you don't know. So I mean, but it's crazy.
I don't know what it was. I was just.
But Mr. Sigmaluno, I want to ask you a personal question.
Okay.
He said, "Oh, you heard that?" Okay. he's like, "Oh."
You always do that when you try to get personal.
I know. Oh, would you be willing to share a transformative experience related to you when you started understanding the difference between nice and kind?
I think it took me because I had a suppressed. I was very passive aggressive because of the way I was raised. So I never really when somebody used to go off on me or treat me any type of way, I would accept it and I would move on. But this particular time, they just cornered me, and they kept laughing and poking and laughing and cornering me and making fun of me. And I'm like, man, come on, man, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. You're just I've already accepted that you are who you are. I'm good. I want to move on. They would not let me move on. So the true me came out. The true anger part of me came out. I ended up whooping they behind until they ran off. But it's just the idea, you're pushing me into a corner. It's not that I'm trying to be nice to be phony or fake. I'm trying to keep myself in check because I know who I am, right? And I know you're an ugly asshole and you treat people like real ugly. I don't want to encounter you that way because I know you're going to do it to me, and I may do something to you. So to go out of my way to continue to smile and be nice. That's when people say you smile a lot and you laugh a lot and you laugh all the time. It's because 9 times out of 10, that's where I train myself to suppress myself. I knew a few things could happen if I just flew off the handle. If I fly off the handle, then I'm gonna hurt somebody real bad, end up in prison, or end up killing somebody, or end up dead myself. You see what I'm saying? So all of the things that I needed to train myself, but a way to train myself was, okay, no problem. Cool, no problem. I took martial arts the same way. And they didn't teach you how to do that. They just said, look, you're going to be registered after this. If you know you have the power to put somebody down and you don't restrain yourself, you're going to find yourself in prison. Yep. You're going to find yourself in prison. You're going to find yourself killing somebody. Probably just find yourself doing something that you don't want to do. So that was another part of this. Okay, no problem. Yeah, okay, cool. No problem. Smile and laugh. Ha ha ha. They continue to say ugly stuff. Ha 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 ha. Oh, this must be stupid. I'm making fun of him. I'm poking at him and he's just laughing. You have no idea how close you are to me breaking you in half. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is for me. So when that changed that one specific time, the few people that were around me was like, he ain't really that person. Man, you must have pushed him hard. And that's the idea. If you are genuinely specifically one way, then people are going to say, hey, man, you shouldn't even mess with that. You mess with him. Look what you did. You pushed him so far that he broke you in half. Now that's what you get. You see what I'm saying? And it's not because I was faking it. It was because every time I see Walter, he's saying hi, he's waving, and he's on his way. You see what I'm saying? He's minding his business. He's on his way. The minute they stop that behavior for me, and the other piece is, if you touch and hurt somebody that I love, and we've warned you not to do this, now you're bringing me out of my character. Now I have to do something to protect my family, the people that I love. Yeah. And it's not that I was being nice because I wanted to kiss their behind and I wanted something from them. It was just the idea that, hey, I want you to know that, who said that? Somebody said that I could be your best friend or your worst enemy. Yeah. And this is me being a good person to you. Hi. Hello.
Don't take my niceness for weakness.
There you go. And that's one of the things. That's one of the things that came out of me eventually having to switch roles and say, hey, no, I'm not. You think I'm this way? I'm not this way. I'm not. This is just a little bit of what I could do. Just leave me alone. And 9 times out of 10, it was those type of situations. But there are people, I have encountered the people that are just that will remind you, look what I just did for you. Hey, nobody asked you to do it for me. First of all, you ain't gonna shake my hand. You ain't gonna say thank you, bro. You decided to do this. I didn't even know you was doing it. Exactly. Yeah. I'm take this back because I'm good. Exactly. If this is the reason why you did it, right.
I would rather figure skate on thin ice. You can have it back.
Exactly. Keep it. But yeah, I've known people that have done that, and they're just, and 9 times out of 10, they're just super arrogant people that think that they're God's gift to the world anyway. And it's like, yeah, I did this, that, and the other, and look at me. Like I have people that I knew that would buy out liquor at the bar and then drinks around for everybody. Look what I just did. Whatever, bro. I'd rather be sitting at a different bar than trying to deal with this inflated ego, this inflated attitude about who you believe that you are. And those are the people that 9 times out of 10, when they get home, there's nobody there. They're lonely. They have no life at all, period. And they have to muster up some stuff to make themselves feel good. You know what I'm saying? So it's some people are like that. That's just the way it is. But you can tell them from afar off. It's like every time you encounter, you're like, you're just such an asshole. That's just who you are. That's who you are. What is the problem, right? What are you looking for from people? Do you have family? Do you have somebody to hold? Sorry. Oh man, but the truth of the matter, that's the way it is. Otherwise, I'm a homebody. Otherwise, it's just I
understand.
I'd rather be.
You rather be?
I impact mostly with youth and young adults. 9 times out of 10. Because I've been hurt like this. Me and my brother was talking about this yesterday. It's just the stuff that we went through as kids. We recognize it in other people and in young adults. Some people, when they get older, you just can't. There's nothing you can do to change that for them. You can only either tolerate them and listen to what they have to say. But with young people, there's a turning point. You can turn this around. You don't have to feel that. You don't have to act this way. Your life can be better than what it is. And that's what it is for me. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, that's what it is. So
I've got a question for you. Well, do you remember me ever saying? I've never said it to you. I think you've heard me say it. It's often the individuals who are genuinely kind who are battling the most demons inside. So just because someone's kind to you, don't think that they are just this nice individual. Most likely, they want to bring kindness to the world and smiles to others' faces because that helps them make it through the day with everything that they're dealing with internally.
Right, and that That is spot on, 100%. There are people that are actually they're hidden away for that reason. But if they can make it through the day and everybody's smiling, everything's cool. We're good. And the next day and the day after that, but you get a disgruntled, you get somebody at your job, especially. I mean, you can see the people that are fighting with this. The people that are fighting with this are mostly ones that are closed in. Like if they got a broom, they're kind of getting their stuff, sweeping it up and getting out of people's way quick, fast, and in a hurry, because they just don't want to. They don't want to cause any waves. They don't want to hurt nobody. They don't want to cause any damage. And those are the ones that are not normally the ones that if you push them a little too hard, you're gonna see something that you don't want to see. But those are the ones that have the hidden the pain, the torture as a child, or been beat up so many times and not done anything about it, and they're trying not to get to this breaking point. But yeah, that's
right.
The
ones you need to be nice to. Every time you see them, go to a Snickers bar or a Kit Kat, so if they decide to shoot up the place, they don't hit you.
Exactly.
That part right there. So anybody who's watching, paying attention.
And then the quiet ones, but they don't mess with nobody.
Say less.
You said you wear in a 500 building?
Cough. I can't go today, mommy. It's a holiday. I can't see myself. So I want to tap into the psychology behind being nice versus being kind. So I know your background. I want to see if you can shed a little bit of light on that and how these behaviors affect personal relationships and mental health. Well,
9 times out of 10, I mean, everything that we've said up until now has been it's been the divide between being open and about your life versus closed up and trying not to tip the scale or to rock the boat. That's the psychology. The psychology is, look, okay, even talking to one particular person, we were talking about what they'd like to do with their life. Do you like to? Are you an introverted person? Do you like to go out and go to outside events, stuff like that? So some people don't even like to be called nice. It feels weird to be called nice, and they feel like they have to give an answer to it, or they have to be that, or they have to fight the idea of being that because you said it. And then that's why you get the people that ask, what do you mean by that? You don't really know me, so what do you mean that I'm nice? Yeah. They're fishing for a reason or something that they're saying that you saw about them that makes them the nice person, or they're like, oh gosh, now if you call me nice, then I have to give you a compliment back. Then how should I compliment the person? I don't even know the person. You see what I'm saying? So it's like they don't want anything in return. Their life is their life in existence is good enough. So to be the idea to be called nice, it's like, why are you calling me nice? I don't know what that means. And 9 times out of 10, you can see that person disappear. You may not see him for days, weeks, or they may not even pass your desk anymore, or you might not see them walking by your office anymore because they feel like compliments is there has to be something fulfilled in order. They have to fulfill something in order for you to continue to think they are. So they have to feel like they have to shape their whole life to be that, and not even looking up the definition. That's why they ask, what do you mean that I'm nice?
Sounds like a burden.
Yeah, it is. It is a burden. It's a burden. That's exactly what it is. It's something heavy on the shoulder because now I got to carry this being nice when I know all I want to do is be alone and do my job and pay my bills. That's all I want.
That's how I know it's a burden.
Yeah.
No, because you was going through something, right? And I thought I was encouraging you with my words. I was like, look, you got this. I believe in you. And all this other stuff. You're like, now I feel like I have to do great. Like, it's heavy now. It's heavier now.
That's it.
Before you started trying to tell me that I'm going to do a good job.
I mean, because like if you don't live up to the expectations of what the person is saying to you, then it can kind of tear you down. Especially in my situation, in my case, it was someone that I felt dearly about. So now it's like
Mhm.
it's equivalent to, and I know exactly where that stemmed from. When I was younger, my mom said, "I'm disappointed in you," and it's just like, damn. So then at that point, it was just like, I need to make sure that I'm making this person
Right.
that I'm showing this person like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to disappoint you. Like I can be everything that you think that I am. So I mean, it took
Es-
a while to get. It took a long time to get out of that. But yes, you are right.
Yeah,
Especially if
I
the
thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was like, oh, he down right now. We're gonna give him the
Yeah.
good, great.
But
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
it's
Yeah. Especially if the bar keeps moving. If you're dealing
Yeah.
with people and every time there's no end to that bar, there isn't just be okay. You're nice. I'm so proud of you. You're doing great. Keep up the good work, and it ends there. No, if the bar keeps moving, and then before you know it, I did the same things I did yesterday, and now you're disappointed in me. Why? So the psychology behind trying to figure out why this person keeps fluctuating or why the bar keeps moving is exhausting. It's like, man, I just would rather be regular and out of everybody's way and with no expectations rather than have this list of expectations or the expectation of being nice, whatever that means. You see what I'm saying? And the people that are facetious about the word nice, they're slapping you in the face and you have no idea that it's happening. Oh, he's just so nice, isn't he? And then they showing you to other people, isn't he just the nicest person, patting you on the back and rubbing you? Oh, he's just so nice. What the
I
hell
can feel
does
the
that
anger
mean?
building up
Why
just
you-
hearing you say this right
You
now.
see what I'm saying?
Exactly. I'm tired. I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah. So that,
dog.
but that's that for me and the people that I've talked to in the past. That is the thing. They would rather not have this heavy list of expectations or this weight of being nice and keeping up this image of being nice to people. Just leave me alone. I'm good where I'm at. I'm doing my job. Leave me the hell alone.
I just thought of something. So you know how they always say that like girls usually want like the bad boys? Do you think that's from guys we noticed that a lot of women would flock towards more toxic and bad guys?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, you're not the normal case. All right, so we'll leave you out of this. You can respond to it though, because you've had a lot of friends who did that though. So I wonder if the reason they would flock towards, or they oftentimes chose the bad boys or the ones that are toxic, is because they see that as that's truly who they are. There's not anything fake about it. They know what they're getting themselves into. They don't have to worry about, is this person being nice? Is this person genuine? No, they're genuinely a fucked up person. So they don't have to sit there and question. I
don't think it's that they're a messed up person. I think there's a bar that's been set. Like I'll say from my experience, most women that have been in church or girls that have been in church, if they're pastors or deacons' daughters or
why are you looking at me? I didn't say. All I said was tread lightly. Okay, I didn't blink twice.
Blink twice, but my experiences with young ladies that have been in church or that have been held to a standard by their parents, they actually, it's like this again, like we we're talking about the bar being too high, set too high, and they're not being able to hold that at all. Period. They want to believe that they are. They want their parents to believe that they are, but they need to let their hair down. Like, damn, I'm tired of acting like this in front of them. Now I'm going to go for what I actually want, and this is it. And however long they keep the secret, the secret is kept. And it's not even just girls; it's the preacher's boys too. They're going for the ones that they feel like, yeah, I can do this because she's cool with me doing this, and ain't nobody around to find out. It's just this the way it is for me. I have this bar, and I'm not supposed to be talking to girls, and I'm supposed to keep it holy. And I'm married to God or married to Jesus, and because I'm married to Jesus, I need to feel like what it feels like to be on the other end of this. And so they tiptoe, they figure it out, and whether it was good or not, I mean. It's good. There's a show called Greenleaf. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Greenleaf.
Oh man!
There you go. And we know those type of people. But the young lady that got with the kid that was abusive, and she was making excuses for him, beating on her, all the rest of the stuff. He really loves me, and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, it took a really severe situation for her to realize. This ain't really what I want. yeah, I had my eyes for my eyes on the bad guy. I mean the bad boy, but it just wasn't going to really work out the way it was. But the idea is that is for real. It always happens that way for ones that are pressured into being this, to having. So a preacher is the equal of a king. So he's the head of the church. Everybody's looking at him. So everybody's looking at his family to act a specific way. So if they act that specific way and they keep up the standard, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you drop that standard and everyone's wagging their finger in your face.
And I'll tell you, the pressure be real. And then my friend thought I was gonna go to a bar, bro. Text messages before I even left the place.
What?
Look at my phone. I don't know why you even went to that place in the first. First of all, which one of y'all in here was snitching?
I'm about to talk to offline about that one, or do I know?
I don't know. And I don't care because at that point, mind your business. Mind your business. There's no reason why I should have people on my phone before I even left the place.
Right.
You should have been over there. Listen. And at first, I wasn't even doing nothing. You see me, I just go in there, mind my business, get my 1, maybe 2 drinks, continue to mind my business.
Oh, okay.
Right. But it's a standard. It's a standard.
Didn't matter
no drinking.
I went to, because everywhere I went to, somebody snitched.
Ooh, I'm telling.
Until they did.
Exactly. Because they saw the standard she's supposed to hold. And after a while, some people just can't hold the image. They're gonna be like, you know what, forget it. Look, my mom was one of those people. And it was like, but my mom would literally kill you. So it's like, am I gonna risk death for this? And the times that we did get in trouble, it was like, I didn't really do nothing. It was credit for the next time if you would have done something. And it was like, man, I ain't gonna even toy with it. That was just the way it was for me.
Jesus,
but I had a sister that pushed the limit. She was like, I like him, he like me. We're gonna get together. No, y'all gonna die together. That's what's going. That's what's going.
To ride or die, right?
Exactly.
What was that movie? What was that movie? King and Queen, or what was it?
Yeah. Wait a minute. That was
the two black folks. They had just like went on a date, but then things went crazy, and they end up passing away. Yo, Sharice says, "Folks see kindness as a weakness, and being nice is optional."
Yeah. That's truth of the matter. Truth of the matter.
Yeah, reading into it a little more. Yeah, they do see kindness as weakness and being nice as optional. Yeah, that's what that's where we got the world effed up. But I'm gonna go ahead and roll in. I'm gonna roll into the closing remarks. You got anything else you want to say, Mr. Sigmund?
No, I'm good. It's just, for me, it's a lot of pressure. If we allow, look, the thing that I don't understand about parents is, if I raised you with these standards, either the standards that I've given you are false and they don't hold water for me.
Yes.
So I'm giving you standards that I know you can't keep. If that's the case, then let your kids know. Like, I'm putting out some standards. I didn't keep them myself. We're going to help you stay in the lines as well as we can, if that's the case. But if you got these, we thought my mother was Mother Teresa, I promise you, until we got around her folks. They was like, what? Shelly? No, she was out there doing blah, blah, blah. And she was this and that and the other. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not what we heard. You know what I'm saying? So it's just those type of things that if you trust the raising of your children, if you trust what you've taught your kids, you should trust that they're going to make the right decisions. You know what I'm saying? And then to realize the world is as big as it is. People are going to make mistakes. Are you going to disown them because they make the mistakes? No, you're going to hold fast to supporting them because your heads and you tripped over some logs, but you're still alive. You know what I'm saying? So,
trip over some logs. How you trip over logs? How did you?
Listen. You think you clear it and you be flipping it after the end.
Hey, Monty, how you doing?
I'm nice. How are you?
Play on the word.
Nice day. Yeah, I had a really nice day. Yeah, I was drinking a nice glass of wine.
Oh, it was that type of day. Okay. Gotcha. We was rolling into closing remarks and we was gonna go into a conversation.
I see.
So you wanted to add anything in for the nice first kind and then some closing remarks?
No, I was listening in a little while I was traveling, and I agree with darn it everything that was said about it. Y'all kind of went into like etymology a little bit and what it originally meant as far as like nice. I remember when I first started being on the path of being awakened, somebody told me that nice means stupid in French. And I thought it was quite
wow.
Oh man.
So that made me chuckle. But I thought about there's a lot of kind words that originate with the unkind, meaning. And then there's a lot of unkind words that we have made kind. So I think that it's important to know like where words come from, but to some degree, it's also about how you use it. Not to say, well, I can't say that we can't make up our own words because we got a whole urban dictionary.
For real. Know that.
Our creativity allows us to take kind words and make them unkind and vice versa. So it just kind of made me think a lot. So I appreciate the conversation on the subject, especially during the time where everybody's trying to be kind this Christmas season. And, it's going to be somebody throwing it in your face that their gift costs more than the gift you got them and all that.
Right.
Somebody's got a secret Santa.
Okay.
I know, right? So y'all smiling the whole time.
Somebody got that gift.
Oh, man. Do not go to that Christmas party.
Yeah, so that's it. That's
okay. All right. Well, this is how I'm doing it newly. I'm doing the closing remarks and closing it out as if I'm closing the podcast. And then I continue with the conversation. Because like I said, I break that off into two different things. So we have fun on the after party. But anyway, there's a lot of people who are let me take over on this one. Ready, babe? Everybody?
Yeah.
So, in conclusion of this episode, there's a lot of people who are living in a fake world of portraying someone that they're not just for likes, views, or to win friends or seeking popularity. It's crazy how it all can come crashing down if they were to be themselves. The time we are living in truly is a time to be alive. Using your discernment and understanding of the difference between nice and kind can save you many headaches and hardships in life. Do you understand the difference of nice and kind now? How do your personal definitions of nice and kind differ? Leave your comments down below. But this was another episode of Divine Time with Danli. And if you like this episode, leave a comment and let me know what resonated with you. Your experiences in being called nice, or shoot, even if you don't want to tell me what I'm doing good, or either you just hate me and hate the videos, leave that down in the comments as well. Just be kind with it, all right? Anything goes, because I'm always looking to better myself. Accountability and growth always. So hit the like, run up the algorithm to get these videos to those who need them. Go ahead and comment so I may learn what I'm doing good and what I can do better. Share, for that's how we pass on that knowledge and wisdom. And subscribe if you want to see more of me. Relax your mind. It's Divine Time.